Live from the chicken wing capital of the world, Buffalo, New York. You're listening to the Childcare Bridge podcast, your source for the best tips, tools, and tactics on how to market and grow your childcare center, ensuring total domination. Total domination. This is the Childcare Bridge, and this is your host, Michael Tasner.
Hey there, and welcome to this week's episode of the Childcare Bridge. Today's topic is all about content, and in particular, content marketing. So I just got off of a webinar that I did, and it was all about how to leverage content to accelerate enrollment, enhance your brand, build a wait list, fill summer camp, and even how to start to scout for potential acquisitions. And the pushback before I started sharing the methodologies, the frameworks, strategies, was I don't have time to do this. The other one was either I don't know how, but the biggest one that I was really surprised on was I don't know what to do content on. Like, what are we doing content about? And it got me thinking, is this something that a lot of centers are struggling with? And I didn't necessarily know how many people are struggling because we do it as second nature at our agency. We're doing the social media for hundreds of centers and pumping out content all day, every day that I thought everyone was kind of doing that. So I started asking, and I decided to survey our entire email list and say, hey, can you tell me about your content efforts? Are you producing videos? Are you doing TikToks, Facebook, Instagram Reels? Like, what are you putting out? And also the frequency. So I asked about the frequency, the amount of stuff that's going out there, so quantity, and then the depth, how many platforms? And I was extremely shocked. I didn't expect to be wowed with like, okay, everyone's doing 50 posts a week and they're on every platform, but I also didn't expect to see that most centers are only focused on Facebook and they're aiming to post 3 to 5 times a week. The issue with content at this stage of the game, and the one massive takeaway that I need you to have for today's episode, is that the amount of content that you need to put out is going to be far greater than anything you ever could have imagined. When someone asks me how much content I should put out, the answer that I always give is more. 1 post a day, more. 2, more. Like, you can never have enough. Like, you can't be legitimately putting out enough content to where everything is so saturated, unless you have 2 Facebook followers, for example. But in that case, it's the perfect example and the perfect reason to be putting out more and more content so you become more discovered. So the first thing you need to fully understand is it's not just the type of content, it is the quantity. And with the search algorithms on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and all of these other platforms, they're looking for quantity, they're looking for consistency, and they're obviously also looking at what are the topics of content so they can put you into a particular bucket or basket. But posting, let's call it once a day, even on Facebook, it's really not going to do much for your center. It's not going to move that needle unless you're throwing ad dollars behind each of those posts where you're sponsoring it so you're actually paying to get eyeballs and visibility, which is a perfect strategy to use and one that we use all day, every day, amplifying your content. But that's not what this episode is about. It's about how much content and the type of content. So the first answer around how much is more. If you were like, well, okay, I need a number. I'm talking minimum 2 to 8 or 10 Facebook posts every day, 2 to 4 TikTok posts every single day. 2 to 4 LinkedIn posts, if that's the audience that you're going after. 2 to 4 Instagram posts per day. If you're leveraging Twitter, that's not 2 to 4, that's 20 to 100 tweets. YouTube, once a day minimum. Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, minimum once or twice a day. Like, it's a lot, and that's why it typically is not in your best interest to even try to do this. But if you're trying to separate yourself from all the other centers, if you're trying to get your brand to that next level, these are the things you have to do. As I've talked in previous episodes, this concept of building a moat around your center so that you are impenetrable, that you can withstand the test of time. The only way that that happens is is if your marketing is literally on fire, your marketing is driving you enrollments on demand, more leads than you can handle. It's warming those leads up. And those leads are coming from all different places. They're not just coming from referrals of current parents. They're coming from website searches, your Google My Business listing. They're coming from organic. They're coming from paid Facebook ads and TikTok and seeing your content, walk-ins, like all of these other places. Like that is how you win at this game. And everything at the center of this is content. So how does that make sense? Right now, the way to get more eyeballs to your website is by putting out more content. The ways to get more eyeballs on social media is by putting out more content. All of this stuff correlates back to content. So if we then pivot our conversation and say, okay, great, we got to throw a lot of content out there. Like I'm clear on that. Still don't know how I'm going to get it done, but I'm clear that content. Okay, fine. Where do you start? And I'm going to kind of walk you through this step by step. And we're going to start with some of the easier options and some of the quickest wins. But my asterisks before you start to absorb this content is that if I have my way, every piece of content you do is done through video. Everything. I really don't want you sitting down at a computer and typing out tweets. I really don't want you writing 500, 1,000, 1,200 word blog posts. I want you producing video content that you can hand off to a team of people who then can match it to the platform. So hear me out on what that means. Each platform, each social platform has a different way that they want content and a different way as to how you can get the best engagement. Certain things are going to play better. YouTube Shorts, they're 60 seconds. You're not going to upload a 50-minute video to YouTube Shorts that could go to YouTube, but you need to have a team that understands how they should look, horizontal versus vertical, what ratios, what trending music, hashtags, like all of that stuff. I want you to be in the zone of producing the content, or at the very least facilitating the production of content. And if you start with video, you can literally hand that stuff off and your team can execute. I've literally been teaching this strategy for going on probably 20 years. I would draw when there used to be more flip charts and things like that. I would literally write video and then I would write all these lines and say, this is how you're going to do it. And the strategy is almost identical to how it was 20 years ago. The only difference is the distribution. So your video then is going to get sent over in audio format. That can be transcribed and then that can be broken into different tweets, pulling things out, adding images. Now you have content for social like Facebook, Instagram. The video can be chunked into 5, 10, 15, 20, as many segments as you possibly need if it's a longer form video. If it's a shorter form video, next. Like you crank them out in quantity. So that is the distribution strategy. So we've talked quantity, we've talked distribution. Now we finish up with what? What do I actually do video content on? First thing I want you to do is I want you to make a list of the top 10, 15, 20, whatever the number of questions are. And I want you to start to answer those questions that parents and families are asking. All the stuff that you get asked all day, every day. All the stuff that your directors are getting asked. All the stuff your teachers are getting asked. And I want you to crank them. When I say crank, I mean one after another. So, example, one of the big questions is always, and this could be current enrollments, future enrollments, like any questions you're getting asked. What type of security do you have? So let's pretend that my center is ABC Childcare. Say, hey, it's Michael Tasner over at ABC Childcare. One big question we get all day, every day is what is our security at our center? Like, how do we make sure that we keep all the good people in, all the bad guys out, and also make sure that everything is on the up and up? So here's what we do. First off, we have outside security cameras. We also have inside security cameras. Once you're able to get in through the front door, you come in, but the main door is completely locked. The only way to get into that main door is then with a particular code. We've also trained families that you are never to let anyone in behind you. Even if you recognize them, everybody has to enter their own code. That is how we are making sure that nobody is getting in that is not authorized. In terms of making sure that the kids are safe, we follow all of these particular guidelines, other doors, locks. So you would go into all the different things. Now that video can end up being 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 2 minutes, and that can be chunked into a couple of different things. But that's one video. The next one could be about the pricing. Next one could be about holidays. What holidays are you typically off? Are you closed for the summer? Do you have a summer camp? What ages? Like all those questions that you get asked. That's where I always start. There was a great book by Marcus Sheridan called They Ask, You Answer, and that's the entire strategy that he teaches in the book. Second set of videos, I want you to start to do videos of you and your staff and your team. And I want it to be more of the, for lack of a better phrase, the touchy-feely stuff. Like, why are you doing what you do all day, every day? What do you like most about working at ABC Childcare? What is your background? What do you love seeing? What's your favorite holiday? What's your favorite activity that you do at the center? And you just start to crank out these videos. The next set, you're going to aim to do a contest with current families and even past families. You want to do a video testimonial contest. Everyone that's willing to leave a video testimonial is entered to win a $100 gift card, for example. You could even go as far and say everyone that's willing to do a video testimonial gets a $20 gift card. And now all of a sudden you have happy parents talking about on video the care that they received at your center. Now you have a bunch of videos from parents. So they go into a little basket. You've got a bunch of these questions that you've answered. You've got videos of you and your team and kind of the founding story and your why. So you've got those. You've got these testimonials. So now you've already got a bunch of assets. The what else can then start to veer into many different directions. But what I like to look at is what are people legitimately interested in? So you know your audience is moms and dads, their parents. Now the grandparents might go on social media as well and take a look at the pictures and things like that of the outing. So they might be part of your audience. But for most of you, your customer is the parent, the parent or parents that are paying the bills. What do they want to see on social media? So yes, they want to see pictures of their kids, if they've authorized that, having fun, meeting other people. But parenting is not an easy job. They want to see fun memes. They want to see helpful articles about how to raise a great child. They want to see recipes, fun things to do in your area, upcoming outings, upcoming events. Like it's not just a post about the 5 things about good childcare. Like that can be done once, but you've got to look at what are the things that they're actually commenting on, liking, sharing in their news feed, and you'll start to get cues. And what you do on the back end is as you're producing this content, you're putting out the helpful stuff, the how-to stuff, you're putting out the testimonial stuff, and you're not doing it one after another where like one testimonial, then 50 minutes later, another one. You're spacing these out a bit, but you leverage the metrics. I have never found a center that has actually went in and looked at their metrics outside of the stuff that's on the front end. So outside of likes, shares, follows, comments, all that stuff that everyone can see, I want you to actually see on the back end of these platforms who's actually consuming your content, who's actually looking at your Facebook Reels, who's actually visiting your TikTok profile. Like you leverage the data to start to show you what some of your best and worst performing content is. Well, geez, we did this fun little thing when we went into the kitchen and showed what we were making for food for the day, and that got 50 times the amount of engagement than anything has. Well, then why can't you do a daily video for 5 minutes that can go on all the platforms? Because the data is telling you that that is what people are interacting with. That's starting to drive engagement and even leads. So you need to build up this base of content to where you're starting to move that needle. And those are the quickest places that I start. But then I like to go for what is my audience sharing? What are they liking, commenting on? And I can gain a lot of intelligence by doing that. And on that back end, I look at all the metrics every week. And I'm going to pick and choose. Great, that did well. Let's do more of that. This one bombed. Let's try it once more. If it bombs the second time, we're not going to do that one. This one of the wacky holiday of the day where we had a couple of kids saying Happy National Ketchup Day and the teacher had ketchup all over him or her. That went gangbusters. Let's do more of those wacky holidays. Like, leverage what the data is telling you. But at the end of the day, you need to entertain, you need to amuse, you need to educate. Make it about them. Make it about the parent, the family. Don't make it about just your center and all the amazing things you're up to. You're going to work that stuff in, but make helpful, authentic, engaging, entertaining content that they can get behind, like, share, comment, and engage with. If you are not producing ample content each and every week, either A, you need to hire somebody to do it, or B, expect that in the next 1 to 2 years, your center very well could be extinct. Because the amount of leads that are shifting to going to social platforms and making decisions as to what care they're going to end up engaging with off of TikTok is insane. Unlike anything that I've ever seen in my last 12 years of being in this industry. Get out, create some content, start testing, leverage the data, rinse and repeat. Michael Tasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'll see you here next week.